Healthy, warm welcome and good morning in today's organic chemistry class to discuss about the nature and representation of the atom of element, subatomic particle and the nuclear species. So first of all, we will discuss about the representation of a element, means how can we represent an atom of element. An element is generally represented by capital X, while the Z is written as subscript and A is written as capital A is written as superscript, where Z is the atomic number, which is written as subscript, while the capital A represents the mass number, which is written as a superscript. So what is the atomic number? As we all know, the number of the protons or the electrons in a neutral atom is called as atomic number, that is represented by Z and written as subscript, while the mass number is represented as A, and mass number is the total sum of number of protons and the neutrons in an atom, and it is also called as the nucleons. The sum of protons and the neutrons which are present in the nucleus collectively called as the nucleons. As you can see in the diagram, that is the diagram which represents the helium atom. In the helium atom, the atomic number of the helium is 2, which is written as subscript, while the mass number of the helium is 4, which is written as superscript. So what is the number of proton in the helium? The number of the proton in the helium is 2. The number of the new electrons in the helium also 2. What is the sum of protons and the neutrons? The sum of the protons and the neutrons in the helium is 4. The number of the proton is 2. So 2 plus n is equal to 4. So the number of neutron comes out to be 4 minus 2 is equal to 2. Means in helium atom, that is a neutral atom, the number of protons are 2, the number of electrons are 2, and the number of neutrons are also 2. Next, we will discuss about the subatomic particles in an atom. Sub means small, means the particles whose size is less than the size of the atom. So these particles called as the subatomic particles, means the small particles which are present in the atom are called as the subatomic particles. These subatomic particles are present in the extranuclear part and also present in the nuclear part. The extranuclear part is the part which is present outside the nucleus, in which the electron revolves. The electrons are generally represented as small e. Write 0 as a superscript and -1 as a subscript. So that is the representation of the electron. The mass of an electron is 9.11 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 31 kilogram, while the nuclear part contains the neutron, which is generally represented as small n, while the 1 is written as a superscript and 0 is written as subscript. So that is the representation of an neutron. The mass of a neutron is 1.675 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 27 kilogram, while the other subatomic particle which is present in the nucleus is proton, which is written as capital H, and the 1 is written as a subscript and 1 is also written as superscript. The mass of the proton is nearly same to that of mass of the neutron, that is 1.672 multiplied by 10 raised to power minus 27 kilogram. But generally a very simple question is asked in the competitive examination, which has slightly greater mass. The mass of the neutron is slightly greater than the mass of the proton. As you can see, the mass of the proton is 1.672. Here is 1.672 multiplied by 10 raised to power minus 27 kilogram, while the mass of the neutron is 1.675. You can see 1.675 here is 5, while in case of the proton case, the mass is 1.672. So always learn that particular fact, that mass of the neutron is slightly greater than the mass of the proton. The protons, neutrons, and the electrons, these are the fundamental particles of an atom. The protons and neutrons are collectively called as the nucleons, as we already discussed. There are large number of subatomic particles which are known to be present in an atom. While we have discussed only these three here, that is the electron, neutron, and the proton, but there are large number of subatomic particles. In the next case, now we will discuss about the energy levels. Energy levels may be of two types, that may be the electronic energy level or the nuclear energy levels. The electronic energy levels are also called as the shell or the orbit. Means the circular path around the nucleus in which the electron revolves is called the electronic energy level or the shell or the orbit. The term electronic energy level represents that there are the large number of circular path around the nucleus, and these different circular path have different energy according to the Aufbau principle. The shell which is present near to the nucleus will have the least energy, because the electrons present in the first shell will get attracted to a larger extent, and thus more amount of energy is released. So the first shell which is present around the nucleus will have the least energy, and so on. Second shell will have more energy, then the third shell, and so on. So the term here, the electronic energy levels, because all the shells present outside the nucleus do not have the same energy, they have different energy. So that these different shells present around the nucleus have different energy, so this is called as the electronic energy levels, because electrons are present in different shell or the orbit around the nucleus, so called as the electronic levels, and they have the different energy, so called as the electronic energy levels. As you can see in the diagram, the electrons are revolving around the nucleus. For example, in case of the helium, whose atomic number is 2, you can see in the diagram the 2 electrons are revolving around the nucleus. While in the central part, that is the nuclear part, you can see there are 4 species. 2 are red in color, 2 are blue in color. These are protons and neutrons. In the helium, there are 2 neutron, 2 proton, and the 2 electrons. As we already discussed, there are no unpaired electron in the helium. So the valency of the helium atom is 0. There is no possibility of the excited state in the helium. In the helium, there is no possibility of the excited state, because in the helium, there is only one shell, that is the first shell. And in the first shell, there is only one subshell, that is S, means there is only one S, and there can be a maximum of 2 electrons in one S. So these 2 electrons can never be excited because there is no further shells. Next are the nuclear energy levels. As like the different circular path are present around the nucleus in which the electrons are revolve, similarly in the nucleus there are different energy levels in which the protons and neutrons are present. You can see in the diagram the neutrons and protons are also moving. So these are called as the nuclear energy levels, means a circular path within the nucleus where the protons and neutron revolves, called as the nuclear energy levels. Now we will discuss about the nature of the atoms. The atoms may be the chemically active atoms or maybe the chemically inactive atoms. So the atoms which do not have the closely shelled electrons are called as the chemically active atom. As we all know, in the previous part, we have already discussed the group 18 elements of the periodic table have the fulfilled stable configuration. These are the chemically inactive atoms, while all other elements of the periodic table do not have the fulfilled stable configuration. So these are chemically active to more or less extent. So the atoms which do not have the closely shell electrons are called as the chemically active atoms. As you can see in the diagram, here is the diagram of H atom, and the configuration of hydrogen is 1s1 because the atomic number of hydrogen is 1. So the configuration will be 1s1, means there is only one electron which is present in the first shell, and that electron is unpaired electron. So means H is not stable in the atomic state. So the H atom, so the two H atom come closer to each other, which results in the overlapping of their orbitals and result in the formation of a covalent bond. Means H2 molecule is formed. Means H atom is unstable. So to acquire the stability, the two H atom come closer to each other, result in the formation of a bond. Now each of the H atom has two electrons. Now each of the two atom has two electrons in the overlapping area. In the overlapping area where we represent a bond by a single line, there are two electrons which are shown here by the red dot. These two electrons are now for each of the atom. Each of the atom now have two electrons, means they acquire the helium-like configuration, group 18-like configuration. Now H2 is stable. So in the nature, the electrons, the hydrogen, the H2, which is a gaseous molecule, which is present in the nature in the stable form. So the chemically active atom do not have the closely shell configuration like that of the group 18 elements. So they also want to get stabilized. So they also want to acquire the fulfilled stable configuration like the group 18 elements. And they acquire that condition either by losing gaining electrons, or by sharing the electrons. As in above case, you can see the two H atom come closer to each other, result in the formation of a covalent bond, means there occurs the equal sharing or the mutual sharing of electrons between the two H atom, result in the formation of a bond. So now after the formation of the bond, each of the H atom has two electrons like the helium, that is the group 18 elements. So that is about the chemically active atoms. Now what are chemically inactive atoms? As we already tell you, the group 18 elements in the periodic table have the fulfilled stable configuration. They do not take part in the bonding because they have all paired electrons. So the atom with atomic number 2, that is the helium, 10, that is the neon, 18, that is the argon, krypton, atomic number 36, xenon 56, and radon, that is a radioactive element having atomic number 86, have closed shell, fulfilled stable configuration. So they come in the category of chemically inactive atom. They are also called as the inert gases previously. Due to their fulfilled stable configuration, they do not have any unpaired electron. They cannot form any bond. So previously they are called as the inert gases. But after the discovery by the Neil Bartlett scientist, the xenon, it was found that the xenon can form some compound like the XeF2, XeF4, XeF6. Nowadays, the group 18 elements called as the noble gases in place of inert gases. Noble means some reactivity, because the xenon shows some reactivity and it can form some compounds. Due to that, the group 18 element nowadays called as the noble gases. So what is the definition of chemically inactive atoms? The atoms with atomic number 2, 10, 18, 36, 54, 86, that is, these are the group 18 elements, atomic number, having the fulfilled stable configuration, having the closed shell electrons, are called as the chemically inactive atoms. You can see in the example, we have taken here the example of helium, that is the group 18 element, atomic number 2, their configuration is 1s2. These two electrons are present in the first shell, which have only s subshell. These two electrons are present in the same orbitals with opposite spin according to the Pauli exclusion principle. These electrons can never be unpaired because the first shell has only s subshell. First shell have never be the p, d or the f subshell. So these two electrons will remain in the paired state. They cannot be unpaired. So the helium cannot form any bond, means their valency is 0. So the magic number of these atoms are 2, 10, 18, 36, 54, 86 corresponds to the total number of electrons in the filled, or you can say the closed electronic shells, and these atoms are most stable inactive atoms. So these group 18 elements atom are the most stable inactive atoms. As you can see in that periodic table, the group 18 elements, that is the helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon, these are the most stable elements. Their atoms are more stable because they have the fulfilled stable configuration. And we generally apply a magic number here, that is a 2, 8, 8, 18, 18, 32, as we write in the group 1 elements. That is a 2, 8, 8, 18, 18, 32. That called as the magic number, means the repetition of the properties after the regular interval in any of the group is called as the periodicity. And these number are 2, 8, 8, 18, 18, 32 are called as the magic number of electrons. These are not the magic number of protons or the neutrons. These are the magic number of electrons. Now we will discuss about the nature of the nuclei. The nuclei may be the stable, the nuclei may be the unstable. On that basis, first of all, we will discuss about the magic number of the protons and the neutrons. So the protons and the neutrons inside the atomic nucleus exhibit the shell structure in a same way like that the shell structure for the electrons, means the electronic energy levels which are present around the nucleus. Similarly, there are the nuclear energy levels within the nucleus where the protons and neutrons are present, and they are present like that of the electrons. So the nuclei in which the nuclear shell filled completely and the number of protons or the number of the neutrons are equal to 2, 8, 20, 28, 50, 82 or the 126 are found to be the naturally stable, and also have the more number of isotopes or the isotons nuclei. Means the atom which have the number of protons equal to 2, 8, 20, 28, 50, 82 or 126, or the number of neutrons, they are found to have more number of isotopes. So these number, that is a 2, 8, 20, 28, 50, 82 or the 80, 126 for the protons or the neutrons are called as the magic numbers. These are the magic number for the protons and the neutrons. Basically, the magic number of the protons are 2, 8, 20, 28, 50 and the 82. These are the magic number of the protons, because till date only the elements having the atomic number 118 is the highest atomic number of the discovered element in the periodic table, because no such element is still discovered having the atomic number 126. The tin, you can see in that particular statement, the tin whose atomic number is 50 having the 50 protons, means the tin has the magic number of proton or the magic number of proton. So it is found that it has 10 stable isotopes. The tin whose atomic number is 50, that is equal to the magic number of proton, is found to have the 10 stable isotopes, while the indium whose atomic number is 49, just before the tin, and the antimony having the atomic number 51, just after the tin, have only 2 stable isotopes. Similarly, the magic number of the neutrons are 2, 8, 20, 28, 82 and the 126. These are the magic number for the neutrons, and collectively the magic number of for both proton and neutrons are 2, 8, 20, 28, 50, 82 or 126. Collectively, these are the magic number for the protons and the neutrons. That is very important question for the competitive examination point of view. Next definition is the doubly magic. What are the doubly magic species? The nuclei which have both neutron number and the proton number equal to one of the magic number are particularly found to be more stable. So these nuclei are called as the doubly magic nuclei. For example, in case of the helium, as the atomic number is 2 and the mass number is 4, as the atomic number is 2, so the number of proton is 2. And the mass number is always equal to the sum of proton and neutron. So the number of neutron here is equal to the difference of mass number and the atomic number, that is number of neutron is 4 minus 2 is equal to 2. Means here the number of protons are 2, the number of neutron are also equal to 2. Means both have magic number. Means that type of species called as the doubly magic nuclei. So helium has doubly magic nuclei. Similarly, in case of the oxygen, the number of proton is 8. The number of neutron is equal to 16 minus 8 is equal to 18. So it also come in the category of the doubly magic nuclei. Next one is the calcium, whose atomic number is 20 and mass number is 40. Here also the number of proton is 20 and the number of neutron is 40 minus 20 is equal to 20. So the calcium also come in the category of doubly magic nuclei. You can see about the lead, whose atomic number is 82 and the mass number here is 206. So the number of proton is 82. The number of neutron is equal to 206 minus 82 is equal to 126. Means that also come in the category of doubly magic nuclei. So the species which have the doubly magic nuclei are found to be extraordinarily more stable as compared to the other nuclei. So there are some further special features for these nuclei which have the magic number of nucleons. Point number 1, they have higher abundance in the nature. For example, helium is amongst the most abundant nuclei in the universe, having the both magic number of protons and the neutron is these, that is the doubly magic nuclei. Similarly, the oxygen one, calcium one, and the lead, they all are the doubly magic nuclei. They are found to be more stable nuclei in the universe. It is found that in the nuclear chemistry chapter, we have already discussed that we have 4 decay series: 4n series, 4n plus 1 series, 4n plus 2 series, and the 4n plus 3 series. The name, that is the 4n, 4n plus 1, 4n plus 2, and the 4n plus 3 series is named on the basis that if we divide the mass number of the product formed by 4, if the remainder comes out to be 0, 1, 2, or 3, if the remainder comes out to be 0, then it is called as 4n series. If the remainder comes out to be 1, then it is called as the 4n plus 1 series. If remainder comes out to be 2, it is called as 4n plus 2 series. If the remainder comes out to be 3, then it is called as a 4n plus 3 series. That all things already been discussed in the chapter, that is the nuclear chemistry, where we have already discussed about these different 4 decay series, about the unstable nuclei, that is the 4n, 4n plus 1, 4n plus 2, and the 4n plus 3. The stable element which are formed at the end of the decay series have the magic number of neutron or the protons. For example, the helium one, the oxygen, or the lead one, these contain the magic number of both proton and the nuclei, and they are particularly more stable, as we already discussed. Now we will discuss about the subatomic particles which are emitted from an unstable atom. If we have an unstable nuclei, means it will continuously goes on emitting some subatomic particles by the disintegration of the unstable nuclei. As you can see in that diagram, we have a radioactive element which is continuously being emitting these radiations, that is the alpha, beta, and the gamma radiations. And these radiation further been deflected in presence of the electric field. The alpha particles, which are generally been represented as helium nuclei. Keep in mind, in the competitive exam, that is generally been asked, what are the alpha particles? You will tick on the option that is the alpha particles are helium nuclei. You will never tick on means the alpha particles are helium atom. Alpha particles are not helium atom. The alpha particles are helium nuclei, means these are continuously being emitting from the unstable radioactive nuclei. Next one are the beta particles. The alpha particles have the positive charge, So as you can see in the diagram, these alpha particles get deflected towards the negative electrode, while the beta particles are represented as small e, 0 as a superscript and -1 as a subscript. So that is the representation of beta particle, and that representation is like that of the electron, but they differ. Means the beta particles are nuclear in origin because these beta particles are continuously being emitting from the unstable nuclei, while the electrons are present outside the nuclei. They are goes on revolving around the nuclei. So that's the difference between the beta particle and the electron, as the representation of both beta particle and the electron is same, but they differ in their origin. Beta particles are nuclear in origin, while the electrons are present outside the nucleus in the different shell, or you can say in the electronic energy levels. Next one is the gamma rays, which are emitting. They have no charge. They are represented by gamma, having 0 and 0 as a superscript and the subscript. They go straight forward without any deflection in the electric field. Now we will see the definition of the radioactivity. The spontaneous emission of these alpha, beta, and the gamma radiations due to the disintegration of the unstable nuclei is called as the radioactivity. The radioactivity may be the natural radioactivity or the artificial or the induced radioactivity. If the naturally occurring species continuously goes on emitting the alpha, beta, or the gamma radiations due to the disintegration of the unstable nuclei, that is the natural radioactivity. While if we induce the radioactivity in any of the species, in any of the nuclei, and if after inducing the radioactivity, now if it start emitting the alpha, beta, and the gamma radiations from the now induced radioactive nuclei, then it is called as the induced radioactivity, or you can say the artificial radioactivity. Now we will see about the representation of some subatomic particles. As we already discussed about the alpha particle, the alpha particle is represented as He raised to the power 4, means 4 written as a superscript and 2 written as a subscript. These questions are generally being asked in your competitive exams. What is the representation of alpha particle? Yeah, which of the following is an alpha particle? The beta particle are represented as small e with 0 as a superscript and -1 as a subscript, while the gamma particle are represented as gamma raised to the power 0, means 0 as a superscript and 0 as a subscript. Next, electrons are like the beta particles, but they differ in their origin. As we already discussed, beta particle are nuclear in origin, as you can also see in the diagram, while the electrons are present outside the nucleus, while the representation of both of them is same. Electron revolves around the nucleus. There are some particles which are called as the antiparticles. Each of these subatomic particles have some antiparticle. They differ from each other either in their spin or in their charge. For example, the antiparticle of the electron is anti-electron, or also called as positron, and it differs from the electron in charge. The positron representation is E, while 0 is written as superscript and +1 is written as the subscript. So that is the representation of positron, and positron is the antiparticle of electron. Neutron representation is written by small n, and 1 is written as superscript and the 0 is written as subscript. So that is the representation of neutron. These representation must be learned because there are some special questions which are based on nuclear reaction are generally been asked in your competitive exams. The representation of proton is H by capital H, while 1 is written as the subscript and the superscript. The deuterium is represented as H, and 1 is written as subscript. आप नीचे 1 लिखेंगे यहाँ पे, and the 2 is written as superscript. So that is the representation of the deuterium. Tritium, 1 is written as subscript, while the 3 is written as superscript. So that is the representation of tritium. These three are the isotope of hydrogen: protium, deuterium, and the tritium. These three are the isotope of the hydrogen, having the same atomic number, but they differ in their mass number. These are the isotopes. Next one, neutrino. These are the subatomic particles which are present in the atom. Neutrino, represented by nu, whose spin is plus half, while the antiparticle of the neutrino is antineutrino, represented as nu bar, whose spin is minus 1/2. They differ in their spin. So how can we define the antiparticles? The species which carry opposite charge or the spin to that of the particle are called as the antiparticles, like the positron or the antiparticle of electron, the antineutrino or the antiparticle of neutrino. The positron and electron differ from each other in the charge, while the neutrino and antineutrino differ from each other in the spin. Now we will see about the radioactive element. We have already discussed in the previous lecture about these radioactive elements. In the group number 1, the radioactive element is francium. In group 2, that is the radium. We also have a synthetic radioactive element in D block, that is the technetium, atomic number 43. In group number 7. When in group number 16, we have the radioactive element, that is the polonium. In group 17, astatine. In group 18, that is the radon. In F block element, atomic number 61, promethium is the radioactive element, while all 5F block elements, that is the actinides, are radioactive. Next, we have some simple definition. First one is the synthetic elements. All the elements having the atomic number greater than 92, including technetium, are called as the synthetic elements. What are the transuranic elements? All the elements having the atomic number greater than 92, that is the atomic number of uranium, are called as the transuranic elements. Transactinides, all the elements having the atomic number greater than 89 are called as the transactinides. We will make correction here. This is called as the transactinides. So the element having the atomic number greater than 89, because that 89 is the atomic number of actinium. So all the element having atomic number greater than 89 are collectively called as the transactinide. Trans means after that. Now we will see about the representation of some nuclear species. First definition is isotopes. So the atom of the same element, you keep in mind the atom of the same element. The atom of the same element which have the same atomic number but different mass number are called as the isotopes. Hydrogen has 3 isotopes, that is the protium, deuterium, and the tritium. Protium, which is represented as H11, while the deuterium is represented as H12. To make a correction here, H12, while the tritium is represented as H13. Atomic number is written as subscript, while the mass number is written as superscript. So these all are the isotope of the hydrogen having the same atomic number 111, but they differ in their mass number. The mass number of protium is 1, the mass number of deuterium is 2, the mass number of tritium is 3. Next example is the isotopes of the carbon. Carbon has 3 different isotopes: carbon 612, 613, 614. 612, 613, and the 614. So these are the isotope of carbon. Isotope of nitrogen, nitrogen 714, nitrogen 715 are the isotope of the nitrogen. Next definition is isobar. Next is isobar. So the atom of the different elements. So for example, we have to take the 2 different elements to define The isobars means the atom of the different element which have the same mass number but different atomic number are called as the isobars. Here the potassium 1940 and the calcium 2040, you can see both have the same mass number but they differ in their atomic number. So these are the isobars. Next one, isotones. The atom of the different element which have the same number of neutrons are called as the isotones. For example, silicon 1430 and the phosphorus 1531. You can calculate the number of the neutron in both of these species. In silicon, the number of the neutron are that the number of neutron is the difference in between the mass number and the atomic number, because the atomic number is the number of protons while the mass number is the sum of proton and neutron. So you can simply calculate the number of neutron by taking a difference between the mass number and the atomic number. So in case of silicon, the number of neutron is 30 minus 14, that is 16. Similarly, in case of phosphorus, the number of neutron are 31 minus 15, that is 16. Means both species have same number of neutrons. So these are isotones. So the atom of the different elements which have the same number of neutrons are called as isotones. So generally a simple question been asked in different competitive exam, which of the following are isotonic species? So in the given different options, you just determine about the number of neutron among the given species and you can correctly tick among the different options. Next definition is about the nuclear isomers. The atom of the same element which have the same atomic number, same mass number, but they differ from each other in their radioactive properties are called as the nuclear isomers. For example, if we take the uranium of different type, that is a uranium X, for example, one of the isotope, other one the uranium Z, that is the another isotope. The half-life of the first one is 6 to 7 hours, while the half-life of the other isotope is 1.14 minute only. Half-life is the time period in which the concentration of a species reduces to half of their original concentration. If the time in which the concentration of a species reduces to half of their original concentration is called as the half-life. For example, if the concentration of uranium X is 1 gram, their concentration becomes 0.5 gram after 6 to 7 hours. So the half-life of uranium X is 6 to 7 hours. So that is the meaning of half-life period. So different radioactive elements have different half-life. The nuclear isomerism property is due to the difference in the arrangement of the nucleons among the nuclear energy levels which are present in the nucleus. Means all these species, that is the uranium X and the uranium Z, they differ from each other and they have the different half-life because they have the different arrangement of the nucleons in the nuclear energy levels in the nucleus. Next definition is isodiaphers. What are isodiaphers? The atom of the different element which have the same number of n minus p are called as the isodiaphers. So first of all, we have to determine about the n minus p. Let's take an example of uranium 23592. Atomic number is 92 and the mass number is 235. If it undergo disintegration to give thorium, atomic number 92 and the mass number 231, with the emission of the alpha particle, that is the helium nuclei, atomic number 2, mass number 4. Now you can see about the number of proton, number of neutron, and the n minus p value. The n minus p value in case of uranium 19 to 235, the number of the neutrons are 235 minus 92. These are the number of neutron. That is the mass number 235 minus atomic number 92. That difference is the number of neutron. That is n. Minus 92, that is p. The value comes out to be 51 in case of uranium. If you similarly calculate n minus p value in case of the thorium, then the number of neutrons are 231 minus 90, these are the number of neutron. The number of proton, that is the 90. So the n minus p value also comes out to be 51. Means these two species, that is the uranium 92-235 and the thorium 90-231, these are isodiaphers. Means what are isodiaphers? The atom of the different elements which have the same number of n minus p are called as the isodiaphers, and these isodiaphers are obtained by the emission of the alpha particle. Means the nuclide means uranium 92-235 and its product. What is the product here? That is a thorium 90-231. These are the isodiaphers. Means the product which is formed after losing the alpha particle is isodiapher with the reactant species. Now, how can you define the term that is the nuclear chemistry? Because from so much time we are discussing about the subatomic particles which are present in the atom, in the nuclei. So the definition of nuclear chemistry means the branch of the chemistry which deals with the study of the nuclei is called as the nuclear chemistry. In a separate section, we will discuss in detail about the different aspects of the nuclear chemistry also. So thank you. That all about the today's lecture. Thank you.